What if we wanted to have 3 different colours in our image like so? How would we do this? Remember that before, we wanted to choose a colour based on every second rectangle, which we could do so based on whether it was an odd or an even numbered rectangle. In this case, we want to choose a different colour in groups of 3, so that the first rectangle in the sequence is green, and the second is blue, and the third red. If we draw a flowchart for this, we can see that we are actually making 2 choices. In processing, we have a simple way of being able to encode a sequence of choices. In this use of the if statement, we can have multiple conditions. When processing executes this code, it tests each condition in turn, and the first condition that is true is chosen. Then, the code contained within that part of the if statement is executed. Let's have a closer look at the code that we can use to solve this problem. As you can see, we have used 3 conditions for this if statement. The first checks whether the remainder of dividing by 3 is 0. The second checks whether the remainder of dividing by 3 is 1. And then the else condition will return true for all other cases. In this case, that will correspond to the remainder of dividing by 3 being equal to 2. Let's have a look at another example. Imagine that we are programming the interface for an air conditioner, and we want to show a different symbol depending on what the temperature is expected to be that day. Let's say a sun for a warm day, a bright red sun for a hot day, and a blue sun for a cold day. In this case, we want to set the value of a variable depending on what the temperature is today, so that we then know what image to show. We could use the following flowchart to describe this. How do we turn this into code? The first thing to do is determine from drawing our flowchart how many conditions we have. Then we can create an if statement condition for each of those. We do this like this. Does the order of each of these matter? Let's try it. This happened because we need to think carefully about the ordering of conditions in our if statements. If the first one to be true is executed, then we need to ensure that we have the right ordering. Let's try that again. That looks better, doesn't it? Let's try executing that and see what happens now. You can place other statements within your if statement body. You can use for loops or even other if statements, which makes this a very powerful tool. As before, be very careful with the curly braces. Each opened curly brace must be closed by a closing curly brace. The curly braces include statements in various structures. We know about for and if now, so again, we want to be very careful. When you are writing your own code that uses decisions, you might want to start by drawing a flowchart of the decisions that are to be made in your code. Now it's your turn.